Hi, this is Jeff, and I'm going to walk you through how to get the artwork ready for the 24-inch wide tabletop silver step retractable banner stand. And so to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just drag the PDF template into Photoshop. And it's going to ask me a couple things when it goes to open. And the first being the crop to. Usually you can just select media box here, and this will open in full size, so you can just leave those dimensions. The resolution should be set at 125 dpi, that is correct. And for the color mode, you want to make sure that you have CMYK selected. So if it is set on anything else like RGB, go ahead and switch that over now to CMYK, because it does actually get printed out in a 4-color print process. So once you're done there, go ahead and click OK. And this pulls open the full-size template. And I recommend designing right on top of this template. And that way you know that the size is going to be correct, the position, the proportions, everything is going to be done properly when you can design right on top of this. Just keep the template as its own separate layer. So on the right hand side here, just keep it as its own layer and then begin adding everything in. Go to File and Place and make sure that all your other design elements are their own separate layers. And that's because in the end what you're going to do is you're either going to hide or you're just going to drag and delete the template altogether and just be left with your final artwork. So as we get started here, you'll notice that on the template it's got the minimum 24 by 45 inches tall. And that's actually the minimum height that you can make this particular banner that will fit in the hardware, is 45 inches tall. So that's from the bottom here to this line. So what I usually recommend though is designing all the way up to the maximum height, which is the 54 inches tall. So from the bottom here all the way to the top. And that's because in the back of this banner stand, it actually is a little bit adjustable and you can move it up and down anywhere in between this minimum and the maximum. So you can always move it down if you have a maximum height of 54, but if you only make it 45, you can't move it up. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you an example of some artwork that fits the template really well, and this will give you an idea of what we're looking for. Okay, so here's some artwork that fits the template really well, and I know that because if I go over to the right hand side here and I right click on it and I go to blending options, I can actually move the opacity down and it will reveal the template layer right underneath it. And so this is really helpful in determining the position of your artwork and making sure that everything is laid out properly. Now, a couple things to point out is you want to make sure that everything is, anything important like logos or text, is at least a couple inches away from the edges. And that goes for all the way around the perimeter. Now you can extend the background all the way to the very outer edge, all the way around, and that is the correct way of doing it. But for any of the important details like text, just make sure they're at least a couple inches away from the edge. You don't want it too close. And actually on the top here, there's a clamp bar, and that's how the banner is held up. And that eats up about a half an inch or so of the banner. And so just plan on that. Extend the background all the way to the very outer edges. But for any logos on the top here, give yourself at least 2 or 3 inches. So what you want to do now is you want to inspect the resolution of everything on your artwork. So your pictures and your logos, etc. And the way that you do that is on a PC pressing Control and plus, or using a Mac pressing Command and plus. And you just want to zoom all the way in until about 1 inch equals 1 inch in real life on your screen. So you can go to View and make sure that you have your rulers selected and zoom in until about 1 inch equals 1 inch in real life. So on my screen here is 10 inches, here's 11, and that's about 1 inch in real life. And so now I can use the Navigator tool, and you can select it by going to Window and Navigator, and you can start to comb around, and you can just inspect all of your elements, and this will give you an idea of what it looks like at full size. So here's the logo, looks good, picture looks sharp, everything else. So once you know that the resolution is good and not pixelated, you can go ahead and press Control and minus or Command and minus on a Mac and zoom all the way back out. So that'll give you an idea of making sure that everything's going to print out and look right. If you have some pixelated images, now is a good time to go ahead and swap those out with some higher resolution ones. So now you're just about ready, but what you want to do at this point is you want to go ahead and save a copy of your working layered file. And this is going to be something where you can revert back to it in case you need to make any edits or any changes now or in the future. And so once you've gone ahead and done that for your own records, you're ready to go ahead and delete the template. So you can either hide it, or I usually just drag it and delete it altogether. So the final step before you save it is you want to go to Layer and just click Flatten Image. And that's going to just compress everything together, all your design layers, all the way together so that you're left with your final artwork. It's going to make it a more manageable file to upload, and it's going to lock everything in place. So what you see on your screen is going to be what I see on my screen, especially if you're using any fonts or anything like that that you have on your computer. I may not have those on my computer. So this will allow you to just lock everything in place. So the final step is to go ahead and save it. And what you want to do is you just go File and Save As. And at this point, you want to save it as a high quality PDF. So that's going to be the desirable file type is a PDF. Just make sure that it's set at high quality. All right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Check the notes below, and we'll talk to you soon.